some of you already joining. There's comments rolling in. Hi and welcome. Welcome to the Digital Fashion Innovators series. We are back after our summer break with a super exciting topic. My name is Marie Bastian. I'm the CEO and founder of World of Mesh, and I'm your host for today's session. So this new era of digital fashion is just bringing together so many amazing talents from all around the globe, and we have Tracy with us today, definitely one of them. And we're here to share her story and to inspire a whole new generation of digital creators on the forefront, as well as the fashion industry at large. And with that said, all our speakers are speaking on behalf of themselves, not the companies they work at. And if you have any questions during this session, feel free to add them in the comments, and we'd be super glad to get back to them latest at the end of the session. But I'm learning by doing. I'll keep an eye on the feed, and I'll make sure that we can get back to them. So with that said, I would like to introduce my guest for today, Tracy Greenan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Marie. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. How are you all doing? I got my Oscars outfit on today. I'm a little bit ahead of time. I thought, why not? There we go.
We're still in the Fashion Week glam gaming / digital flow. Tracy and I, we met in Paris for Digital Fashion Week. We have our drinks with us, as Orla has introduced to this platform. And I love bringing in the ideas of you guys. So definitely keeping that on the go. And it's amazing to have you here. And maybe we can just get started. And you could give us a quick introduction of yourself and tell us, what you're doing right now. And a little bit of your journey and how you got into digital fashion. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I'll have to take a deep breath because it's a handful. Let's see. So my name is Tracy Greenan. I am the founder of Aura, which is a digital fashion brand exclusive to gaming. One of the first. Very excited about that. We debuted at Digital Fashion Week, just Paris, London, New York, and I'm also head of partnerships at Digital Fashion Week, and I'm vice president of North America at Republic. Before that, I was founder of Aurelian Icarus, which is a digital jewelry and accessories brand. And Aurelian Icarus has transformed to become Aura. And before that, even, I started in the industry in 1991, way before Marie and probably most of you were born. I started off making, I was designing eyewear, and then I moved into, I started doing shoes, and then I moved into eyewear, and then apparel. That was in Toronto and New York. And then I jumped over to Europe, and I was there, Europe and in London. I was there for about 20 years, and now I'm back in New York. Well, I'm in Spain today, but I'm based in New York.
So you had that transition from actually working starting at a physical fashion point.
Yeah.
And you were part of this transition that happened live, being one of the first pioneers moving into the digital / gaming sector. So that's why we're really excited to hear more about your experience there. But I just wanted to highlight that at that point. Go on.
Yeah, when I started in fashion, e-commerce was just a very rarely used thing. It was not accessible like it is now, and there was no social media.
Yeah.
So things were quite different, and I had to go do my sales I took a suitcase down from Toronto to New York, didn't know anybody, and just started knocking on doors, and that's how I got my buyers, and then I did the trade shows. It was an international trade show, so that's how I managed to get my stuff selling in different countries in such a short amount of time. But things were so different and quite closed back then. It's really great how we have this whole new this whole new industry to play with and to evolve and grow in.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all super curious since you're one of the few ones that had this physical brand experience. What was it really that made you decide to dive into this digital realm of gaming, and this is specific in the gaming sector? Was there any event that triggered that? Any moment that you remember where you're like, oh, and you recognize this space for yourself?
I was reading an article. I read a lot of newspapers. I like to kill trees. So I was reading a newspaper article about digital fashion.
Yeah.
This was a few years ago. I was very intrigued, but at the time, like I had my jewelry line, and then I just got distracted with everyday business and forgot about it. And it wasn't until I was contacted by a digital brand, Entourage. Many people might know Entourage. Lauren Cashner contacted me, and she wanted to know if I would be interested in doing a talk with Jevels. They are an Austrian-based jewelry, digital jewelry platform. And then I realized after doing that talk, I guess maybe during that talk, I was like the oldie and they were the newbies, the new generation.
Yeah.
And I realized after that talk, okay, this is something seismic happening in the fashion industry. I better hop on or else I'm going to be left behind. And I had to get completely out of my comfort zone because I didn't know anything about Web3 or digital fashion. I didn't want to learn a whole new friggin' program called Blender, which I know Stella Achenbach is a huge fan of.
Yes, she is.
I still don't know, Stella. I'm very sorry. Not going to happen. But anyways, after that, I went down to Decentral Miami, which if some people don't know, Miami is a hub spot for crypto and NFTs, digital fashion in America. And then I just went up to people. I just decided, look, I'm just going to have to get out and put my big girl pants on and just approach people. And that's what I did. I felt like I was like the very uncool kid stepping into the new kids zone, and I didn't know what to say.
I think everyone knows that feeling. Everyone's been there at some point.
I went up to Stella. I asked her for an autograph. No, just kidding. I went up to Stella and I said, look, I don't know much about Web3, but I'm very interested. Would you be interested in collaborating with me? And lo and behold, she said, yes. So that's how we did it. We started making assets together. And Stella is based in Peru. By the way, she's one of the best 3D renderers I know. So she's really, really good. There's a lot of great renders, but when it comes to the work I've seen from her, is phenomenal. Anyway, so she was in Peru. I was in New York, and I was saying to her, how are we going to get started? Like I had some ideas, and she said to me, okay, take some pictures and different angles of what you had in mind. So I had some stones, crystal stones, and then she was able to manipulate that in a rough idea, and then that's how we made them into an asset with the help of using AR, so I could wear them.
I'm totally in awe because I had no idea that Stella was your first contact point back then in Decentraland, because I know you told me about that before. But I had no idea it was Stella. She was on our session before. For anyone joining in who didn't see it, have a look at that session with Stella as well. It's really good. I had no idea. And what I love about what you're sharing right now, at every point, you're mentioning collaboration, how Lauren brought you into that panel discussion or that event, how Stella introduced you to how to, transition your products into AR. And I think that's so evident for this community in this space. And that's what I really enjoyed about Digital Fashion Week. There's such a sense of collaboration and support. And I just wanted to highlight that because I love it. And that your story just proves that point.
Yeah. It's a great story. It was Stella and Lauren Cashner were the initiators in this.
Stella's super active. I love it that you're joining this conversation. This is so cool, really good.
And now I can't get out. Now I'm stuck in Web3. I can't get out. Can anybody help me?
Well, it's funny because I have this comparison. It's called the Retina display effect. Back then when the Retina displays came out, which is for everyone out there, the display has a much higher resolution. It's much more crisp. And once you had that display, you went back to an old display. Everything was super blurry, and you're like, "What? No, I can't deal with that anymore." And it's a similar effect when you get into Web3. It's just this new world opens with all these opportunities. And it's so hard to take that step back again. Because I know I've been training also a lot of designers in just working in 3D, designing in 3D, doing their fittings in 3D. And some of them also experience a switch in their job, and they went back to companies that didn't have it introduced yet. And they told me that they find it so hard to go back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a really good point for sure. Do you maybe have the any? We were talking about collaboration and this great spirit that's going on. Do you also see any challenges and maybe also other opportunities in both directions, positive as negative, for this, this new realm of digital fashion and the gaming sector? Is there anything where you feel like, oh, we really got to work at that, or anything you want to highlight?
Yeah, I think the number one thing, at least that I'm seeing in gaming, is if for digital fashion, if you are a brand or if you're an independent digital designer, you've really got to make sure that you're in there because you want to be in there. You don't want to come across to whip these gamers that you are in there because you have to.
Yeah.
So authenticity and sincerity is number one in this space. And I mean, there's a few other things. I mean, it depends on there's so many different gaming platforms. And you want to make sure that what you're designing in a game is going to resonate with those players, because each platform has a different aesthetic. Each game has a different aesthetic.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of different trends. If you look at the Roblox marketplace, there's loads of trends going on. There's millions and millions of virtual wearables for sale in the marketplace. There's 62 million daily active users and 200 million monthly active users in Roblox. So, and the virtual wearables changed because there's so many UGCs that are uploading things, and games that are shifting in popularity. That also shifts the trends and the styles. So if you're going to be designing, you need to know who your demographic is, what games they're playing on, and what they might be interested in buying.
Yeah, and staying up to date is such a challenge. And just for those out there listening, so digital assets, we're talking about actually digital fashion worn in virtual worlds in the gaming industry. So there's a lot of open community games and platforms. We have platforms like Roblox, Sandbox. We have community spaces like Spatial. So there's a lot of these, and digital environments, also gaming environments where people can come together and actually wear their digital garments. I'd love to also hear from you as you're someone who transitioned also from physical to the digital space. I'm sure with that transition came a big shift also in the aesthetics and how you think when you design stuff, not only focusing on the consumer or the gamer or whoever is gonna buy those digital assets, so those garments, but also in terms of what they're looking to wear, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a classical garment, like something punky or something, I don't know, minimalistic, fresh. It can also be go in totally different areas, right?
Yeah, it just depends on who you want to target and what kind of style do you want to have in your collection. What are people looking for in their inventories? And I know we've been talking about Roblox. People are talking about Fortnite. By the way, Fortnite, there's talk of a marketplace happening there as well. We don't know when that's going to open, but that's really super exciting. And there's other platforms, other games as well. And I think a big challenge is getting into that game if you're not a big brand. I mean, I talk to so many independent designers and they're asking me, how do I get into so-and-so game? And it's a big challenge if that game, the company, is just going directly to brands. Like, the other guys get left out. So always, I think, great thing about media is you can learn from what is happening in the gaming industry. I tell people, don't get your news from LinkedIn or social media. Don't go in there. It's fine to scroll, but I mean, today I saw a stat on gaming that was just wrong. Somebody posted and they gave their comments. It was incorrect. So it was always good to double check and fact check. Like with me, I was, this sounds super nerdy, but when I was on my way to speak at Epic Games, I was on the plane reading the annual report from Tencent. So they've got a big stake in Epic. So I wanted to know what's going on in the company. You got to read what's happening because that will tell you the shifts in their budgets and where the company wants to go. And you don't even have to look at annual reports. You could do your own research by going on to any kind of stock market or financial site. If you want to learn to see, for example, a fashion brand that is getting into gaming and find out where they're what their financial story is all about. Where are they right now? Do they have the budget to spend? We all know that Epic just laid off several hundred people. So that makes you in the back of your mind. Like for me, I consider myself, I'm sad to say, but I consider myself more of an entrepreneur than a designer these days because I need to make sure that I got to monetize.
We need to wear,
right?
We need to wear all these different hats, right?
All these hats. And then the reason why I'm shifted over to gaming is because I realized from being a digital designer, the revenue I had anticipated was not meeting my return on investment that I had thought I was going to. And I think because I think the nail on the coffin for me was when Snap discontinued the use of using the wearables and their video calls.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, that's it. I need to rethink things. NFTs are slowing down. I need to be able to, I want to start fresh. So that's what I did. I started fresh as a gaming platform, as a gaming brand. And I got to tell you, Marie, it's so liberating. I'm so happy because it's a lot of fun making these things. Your imagination can just go wild. And
yeah, you're free from all these constraints in the physical world.
Yeah,
should I blend in the trailer? You can say a little bit about your digital brand. We can have a look at what this actually looks like. For those of you who wonder what digital fashion is, this is gaming. It's the next layer of visual.
Yeah, so I you really have to say, and it was a learning curve. And you trying to figure out what works that and therefore they usually why is it I hired another designer and met them at the now we're not going to be that would be okay. Yeah, so that was the part of drop 1. We have 3 drops coming up. So that was something fun that we did. And it was a big learning curve on Roblox because I didn't know that how you market your wearables on a certain avatar will have an effect on your sales. There was one.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the new slimmer models on Roblox, even though they look nice, is not selling as well as the traditional clunky avatars. So that is something I wouldn't have known had I not gone with a digital fashion house that was already positioning brands in gaming. That was really super good to know.
Absolutely. And just in case you were wondering, so during we played the video, we couldn't hear you because it was like overlapping a little bit. So in case you shared anything there, you can also go for it again. I just want to mention my favorite is the Subcat. That's super nice. I love that one.
Oh yeah, I had those in AR made, and so I had lots of images. They were floating around Times Square, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds so good. And you just take, that's also a great example of just this shows us visually how our consumers of tomorrow are changing. I mean, we're talking about statistics. We heard Digital Fashion Week. You were also on a panel discussion, and we heard that the Gen Z spend 12 hours a week on their gaming platforms. We have here, just for you guys, also another Statista showing that Gen Z spend, 22? I can't read, it's too small. 22% of their week in the gaming compared to older generations. So it's just really such such a relevant market for if you think ahead in the future. And the consumer is so different orientated. You cannot take your fashion strategies and apply it to digital spaces, especially in gaming, because these younger generations and kids, they love also dressing in their favorite characters, for example. Doesn't have to be a human being like we saw in your images as well. So that was a very great visual representation of what's going on in the space. Thanks for that.
Yeah, those are all really great points. I wanted to mention, so I don't know if everybody heard, but what I said was I had to make sure when I got into gaming that I was working with designers that are already familiar with the games and already designing in the games. So they know what is going to sell and what's not going to sell. And that was super helpful because I know if I had worked with a designer that was not familiar with that game, that would have not been in my best interest.
Absolutely. I mean, even on the platforms, you have to switch and adapt, like you said. I love that. And yeah, I mean, this is a new generation coming. We have a complete new breed of consumers coming up, and customization is also playing a huge role in the space. I'm not sure if you can also share a few details about that, but bringing the players into the creation process, having co-creation platforms, letting them also have fun and customize their items. And I think that brings you also as a brand in totally new spheres of designing.
Right. You can absolutely do that and customize and mix and match and really build your inventory from other different designers and wear them on not just one avatar, but several different avatars, depending on what game you're going to go into. I highly recommend, if you're interested in gaming, get in there and start playing gaming. And just go in and game, find the ones that are popular and get in and see how it's being used, and look to see what the avatars have on there, because that's going to be really helpful to know what people are interested, what the demographics are looking for in these games. And it's also very interesting to speak with people that are in the Gen Z generation, because I speak with a lot of kids, and the platforms that I thought, this one particular platform I thought was a no-brainer. It's like the hottest one. My son and his friends told me, "Mom, that's kind of irrelevant now, that game." And I said, "Why?" And he gave me a reason where they haven't produced something new in a long time, or forget now what he said. Like, so they've moved on to other games that are more that are more fresh, that are always providing something new for them, some sort of feature that they can be immersed in and they won't get bored.
Yeah, so consistency, staying agile. So not only as a brand adapting to these new platforms, but also the platforms themselves need to stay, have fresh ideas and stay up to date with what's going on. Definitely. I love Stella. Thank you, by the way, how you're helping out with answering questions.
Here,
she's the best. Thank you so much. Yes, I think we covered all the questions that were in there from Elan. I hope everything was clear so far. If not, just let us know at the end of the session. We can get back to that again. But yeah, we talked about the NFT market. Stella also highlighted that the NFTs are a technological layer to the digital art. But I think what people also, we have this connection with NFTs. It's not our main topic, but I wanted to highlight that here. Because people think, when I think of NFTs, it's just like the metaverse. Both words have these bad images actually now after a time. Like, people don't like mentioning it. They'll say digital tokens or assets instead. But NFTs are not only like super expensive digital JPEGs, like some people think. Yes, there has been a lot happening in the market, but it's actually also, there's other technology on the deeper layer behind it. And the real power of NFTs and blockchain is providing transparency and ownership to your digital assets. So just like when you buy the Mona Lisa and like some physical painting, you get this paper that goes with it that says, no matter which duplicate is out there, you own the original one. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what blockchain is offering us at this point. And I think it's definitely, and we also learned that during the panel discussion. I thought it was a great point. We're really trying to move that perception into a space where we see it more as a digital infrastructure that users don't even notice. It's just happening in the background, but it's proving ownership and belonging. It's not
Yeah.
just the ape image that costs super much.
Well, I'm
We're
still
moving
a
beyond
believer
that already.
in NFTs. I'm definitely still a believer in NFTs, but I
Yeah.
think I think it depends on how it's being used. Like, for example, for luxury brands, if you're collecting something, it's great to have an NFT of something.
Mm.
I I'm fully for that, especially for luxury and using blockchain. It's great for fashion if you want to find out where things are coming from. And I wonder though, some of these brands, like I work for this one big luxury brand in London, if they're actually going to, how much information they're going to indulge.
Yeah, because with that comes a lot of transparency as well, and,
Exactly.
even
Exactly.
fashion brands, the as much as they try to get the full transparency of a product life cycle when they trace things all the way back, where the fabric's made, where the fiber's grown, at some point, I hope that blockchain can bring that full transparency, but even the brands in their physical process, they lose that trace at some point because there's just so many third parties involved. So I'm hoping that blockchain can actually bring that to our industry. And I can imagine that some brands are maybe, uh, it's scary too because you really need to get into those nitty gritty details of your supply chain, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole
Really
nother story as
interesting,
well.
especially when it comes to labor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many, we all know it. There's so many areas we have to work on in our fashion industry. We have to get things better. And I think digital fashion is bringing a lot of opportunities into space to actually tackle some of them. Yeah. So that was really good. I was just looking at my notes. I have some questions still written down.
I think
So,
Claire, sorry,
yeah, go
Claire,
for it.
Claire Tattersall, the founder of Digital Fashion Week, has very kindly answered a question from Alan. Alan, I hope I said your name right, but she wanted
Sure.
to know what one could do to get
Clear.
involved in digital fashion. And Claire was suggesting, I don't know if everybody can see the comments, you can join the discords, for example, at Digital Fashion Week or any other discord. Look for tutorials. Designers are great at sharing. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's great that you mentioned that. Hi, Claire, and thanks for joining. You did a great job in Fashion Week. We're celebrating you. Yeah, that's definitely, there's a lot of touch points you guys can start. If you also want, you can also, we can post some things underneath say Instagram Live, LinkedIn Live, and you guys can also follow up. But Discord's a great channel. If you haven't got it set up yet, there's a lot going on there, a lot of information being shared. So yeah, so good to see you.
Well, this is my age is going to show because I hate Discord. I'm so sorry. Is anybody in the comments? Anybody like? Am I the only one? I hate Discord. I know LVMH joined it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I hate it.
Launch. It was a big launch. So for everyone out there, yeah, Louis Vuitton was Louis Vuitton, right? Yeah. Just open the Discord channel. It's a new strategy that brands are following to also get into this digital space and the gamer environment and really connect with younger generations. Yeah, there's a Discord is challenging. It's just another channel where a lot of content's coming up, and I find it hard to keep up with everything. I'm sure everyone else feels the same out there. But it's like a new environment where you can, um, if anyone from maybe a little older generations remembers, I don't know, ICQ, for example, way back then, that was my time. It was like a chat environment. And it really reminds me of that with a combination of having your own space where you can organize different groups and topics. For example, you can have a brand, and then you can have topics about NFTs, maybe introductions to the digital fashion world where you can get started. They have community projects. It's just really nice, but it is a lot to get your head around. So don't be too hard on yourself if it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we got that answered. Very good. We have another one. Let me see. I think I like Slack better, lol. Yeah, Slack is for all the developers out there, probably the platform, the development for Jira. And we have Stella. I'm just catching up on the messages. There's good alternatives on the way. They are much more intuitive and beautiful than either Discord or Slack. I'm curious to hear about that one. Maybe you have some links you can share at some point. That would be super nice. Discord will be the new CRM system. We must persist as it's a vital part of the ecosystem. It is a vital part. And maybe over time, it's going to be also, maybe it's going to get more simplicity, the way we use it, the way we engage with it. Right now, it's just like all the information in one space. Yeah, but it's good we touch base on that because that's a big part of our topic, fashion and gaming fusing together, because Louis Vuitton just launching their Discord channel was a huge strategy move for them. And that just shows you how the traditional physical houses are also really moving into the space, learning and evolving as we go. And we're merging. Definitely the two worlds, physical and digital, are merging. Nice. Okay. So now we talked a little about the gaming industry, and I also know that you're someone who also works together with other collaborators out there, other digital creators, agencies, services. I was also wondering if you could share a little bit your experience from a side of getting creators and creative people on board for projects. What's important to you when you start projects together? Do you have any recommendations for creators out there to getting started on projects, what they should keep in mind, how we can support them on their journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the one thing I'm sure with you and a lot of people listening is we spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. A lot of founders in digital fashion, Web3, we're on LinkedIn almost every day. And I'm always combing through to see what's new and exciting in digital fashion. And particularly, I'm looking for digital fashion designers. What's the next big thing? And what I would love to see on their profiles is a quick link to their portfolio. So you know how you have your website, you can list it on there, or even have it in your featured section. So it's just really easy to access, and I can quickly look and see what they're working on.
Yeah.
It's not just digital fashion I'm interested. I'm also interested in tech and how it can enhance other companies and enhance in special effects for fashion related events or for branding. I'm looking at a lot of things. I'm looking at holographics, anything that's super exciting that is different. I would really love to see it.
Yeah, holographics is also a great point. And probably most of you guys saw the presentation in Amsterdam. There was a holographic fashion show. It was amazing. It was emotional. It was a whole new level of digital fashion, actually. The whole community was totally excited and also very touched by that performance.
Yeah. It was a game changer. I think that when you see stuff like that,
yeah,
I can think of it applied in different ways than just fashion. So my cogs just started turning when I saw that. So that was really exciting to see.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those landmarks that I think we're going to remember. It was a really, really nice moment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So for all those creatives out there, remember to add your portfolios in a very accessible way. I'm just summing up together. For anyone who can't afford a website, because we know it's a lot of work and sometimes also a lot of cost to get something really good going, beacons and stuff like that is really cool as well. It doesn't cost anything, and it's a super easy, accessible way to show your skills and your projects. You can just throw it into your bio on Instagram or on any other platforms you're using. So that's a super nice, easy way to get started as well.
Yeah, or just do put it in your featured section on your LinkedIn profile in a file.
Yeah.
So that way it's so easy for people for people that are hiring to see, just really accessible. And I first of all, I really don't really like Instagram, or I hate to say I'm not really on social media very much, but I'm doing. But it's when I'm looking for people to hire, I'm looking on LinkedIn.
That's also a good point, because that's where the businesses are also looking for their talent. So definitely, probably a lot of young people out there that haven't entered that space yet. It's a great opportunity to show your skills, to get in contact with people, even though it's maybe has this more businessy edge. Definitely worth having a look there. I think Snoop Dogg also is really owning that space right now. Someone I know from my 90s time when I was growing up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's huge.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
doing
I'm gonna have to make connection.
yeah, it's quite funny actually. I love following it.
Another thing to promote yourself is just do a post. That
Yeah,
costs nothing. Just do a post. Have like 3 hashtags so you don't look desperate. And maybe you can mention or several people that you would love to work with. Don't, if it's a
very
big
good
brand,
idea.
don't go up at the top, go like somewhere down at the bottom to get their attention. But I would be posting all the time stuff you're working on. If you can talk about it,
Yeah,
stuff that you've done in the past, be on there and try to connect with as many people as you can. And then also, if with some of the connections that you're super interested in, if they have their profile where their contacts are accessible, go click on those contacts and reach out to those contacts as well.
absolutely. That's a great idea. I know that's a definitely will catch the attention of some creators, brands out there. And also, Stella mentioned check out also the Twitter space or X, what we should call it now. There's also a lot of cool communities having live sessions there as well. She has every Monday also one I can definitely recommend. Is it hers every Monday? I'm confused. There's so many going on. Yeah, so definitely if you have any questions, feel free to connect with Stella as well. And yeah, here's another comment for Claire Tethered. So super excited to check out the community. So you definitely got one more follower to join the sessions. The more, the better, because we definitely need all of you guys joining because we need to get grip on this topic and need to speed up and bring some change into our traditional fashion industry for sure.
I think if you want to have a look and see what's happening and get really inspired on the cutting edge of fashion, go to the Digital Fashion Week YouTube site and take a look what's been going on, what was happening
Yeah,
in Paris. They have a whole bunch of films on there. They have the digital shows on there. It's really great. I mean, I saw so many phenomenal films. It was super inspiring, and it was great to see what the cutting edge of fashion looks like.
absolutely. The talks were really on spot. I was totally excited about the content that was shared. The insights that you guys shared were really, really high quality. So definitely can recommend everyone having a look there. And Stella just put that straight that the Monday talks are not hers, but I know that she from the Alana project also has some topics going on there. So yeah, you guys can check that out for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Cool. I'm glad that you guys are connecting because that's what this is also all about, bringing us together as a community, helping each other. That's amazing. So I'd like to move on to another topic because I know that next to your your new position at Republic, congratulations to that.
Thank you.
Amazing step for you, and I think the team is super nice. I had the pleasure to meet them, so I can see how it just clicks.
Yeah.
You also have another project going on. It's the Gamers Over Guns project, and I'd love to hear more about this because this is really one project where you really caught my attention with. I thought it
Oh,
was very purpose driven and very unique. And yeah, please share some more about that. What is that project about exactly?
yeah. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm not even sure if I mentioned it when I introduced myself. Maybe I didn't. But
I didn't forget.
did I? I don't remember it. Yeah, Gamers Over Guns is a nonprofit digital fashion initiative that empowers youth from gun violent communities with a powerful combination of digital fashion, technology, and financial literacy to help them overcome hardship and level up to reach their potential as tomorrow's leaders. And I'm very happy to say we are rolling out in November next month in New York City, suburbs of New York City. Super excited. Yeah, I'm super excited. So basically, let me explain to you how it works. So the Gamers Over Guns we're basically teaching them how to design and create skins using the Roblox platform. And so they will have these kids from these at-risk kids are going to have the opportunity to learn a cutting edge piece of technology in a field that they're already super interested in. They love gaming. And the school I was in talks with said, well, we're going to have to remove our gaming, our controls on video games. And I said, fabulous.
They're
Kids
gonna love that.
we may want to do that. So I said, bring it on. And I remove it. So yeah, so we're doing that. And with the revenue that's going to be generated from that, they're not going to be rich, but they're going to learn how to be a UGCer. So they're going to learn how to build their own little business,
Yeah.
and do their market research. And they're going to play around with fashion and AI and get some ideas going, so get some ideas generated. And what they'll do, they'll learn that. And what's great, when the revenue comes in, that's when the financial literacy module happens. So we are going to teach them what to do with that money, how to spend it, how to save it, how to invest it. So, for example, there's limited edition. They call it limiteds in Roblox, and basically, there's something special about a brand or a UGC would have this limited that is a little more expensive, possibly scarce, that it can go up and down in value. So like the stock market, people are buying that in the platform. And there's actually a chart on the Roblox marketplace that shows how that limited has performed. So they're going to have the opportunity to learn about investing and reselling if they want to, or hanging on to it, and reselling it in the future and making a profit.
I don't know what to say. There's so many highly valuable life lessons in there. It's so much more than gaming and digital fashion or digital garments or collectibles. I love how you're linking that to teaching how you actually deal with your earnings, how you can plan, financially invest your earnings. And I wish someone would have taught me that when I was a kid, because who knows what I would be doing now. Maybe I would have gotten to this point a little quicker than before. So kudos to you. This is such an amazing project, especially focusing on our vulnerable groups. And that's what Web3 and digital fashion is about, right? We're including, we're giving everyone the same opportunities. We want to give everyone the same tools to be an active player in this space, to have fun in this space, to connect and collaborate. And your project is just taking that another level higher. So
thank you. Yeah,
I'm really excited. So what's the next steps? You're starting a project now with in New York with a school. Is that right?
Yeah, we're starting off with one test school to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed we can spread it out. My long-term plan is to actually go into prisons and teach the inmates there a skill that they can learn. So when they're released into the general public, they'll at least have something that they know, and then they can fall back on. So many people, when they leave prisons, have no skills. They don't know what to do with themselves. This gives them a little bit of confidence to know, look, I've got something that I can do. I know something, how I can understand a little bit how 3D fashion works. I know a little bit about gaming. This can give them that inspiration to do something bold with their lives and continue on. So it doesn't just affect kids in gun violent communities. It's my hope to also help people that are incarcerated, to give them some kind of confidence that yes, they can do something that they're interested in and cool, and then generate revenue.
So great. So it's it's about giving giving them also, like you said, the confidence and the skills to actually build up something themselves after they get back into the everyday life. I know that this is such a great opportunity also because you can build these businesses from at home. All you need is a laptop or a computer that has quite heavy power in computing. But that's basically all you need. You can start as a one-man show. This is such a great opportunity. You can do it from everywhere, from at home, wherever in the world you are. That's what I also notice when I collaborate with a lot of people from all over the globe, not only inviting you guys on this innovator series from all over the globe, but also on projects. It's bringing that equality and democratizing this technology and this opportunity for everyone to experience at the same time. I think that's not only with AI rolling in, such a huge topic, which a lot of people are talking about, but even in digital fashion in this niche, we want to bring everyone on to this table, give everyone the same tools and opportunities. And your project is just really right on spot. I love it. I think it's something we definitely should all support. Is there anything anyone can do out there if we want to support you? For example, Stella is asking for the link to the Roblox collection.
Yeah, so if you go to iamaura.me, that has information on it. And I just wanted to add this. There's a really scary statistic. The reason why I decided to do this initiative is for some people that are some people listening or watching that are not aware, but gun violence is the number one killer of children and teens in the U.S., overtaking car accidents since 2003. So that's a very sad statistic. And so this is one of the reasons I came up with this initiative during one of my Roblox collection meetings, my Aura meetings. And I thought, I'm watching about gun violence every day. Like, it's not just up in communities that are underserved. It's happening in Times Square. It's happening where tourists are. And so the reason, this is just one way to apply to give these kids an opportunity, because they don't have the opportunity. First of all, university is very expensive in the United States. A lot of people are graduating with, this is not unusual, with $200,000 in debt.
I know, it's insane.
It can balloon. Now, I was reading the other day, one woman graduated, she had $30,000 in debt, and now it's $500,000 because of all the fees and all that interest compounding. And she's in her 50s now and still having to decide, am I going to pay my student loan this year, or I'm going to be able to feed my kids or buy a prescription for my kids, or pay my student loan off. It's really so problems. This gives people that can't afford university a really good way to have a skill that you don't need to go to university. And for those listening that can't afford it, don't drop out because you're going to piss off your parents.
That's a really good point, because I think that's another life lesson that everyone learns at some point: consistency, sticking at it even through the tough times. It can get really tough. And I think today's Mental Health Day, by the way. Can that be? Yeah. So celebration to everyone out there who's sticking with it. I know we all had a tough year. And I think if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about that, you should stay tuned for our next session, because that's going to go a little bit into that direction. Are you coming to an end? And we want to just wrap you all in a blanket and motivate you to just stay with it, because it's been a tough year for a lot of people out there, especially for small businesses and freelancers, but everyone, actually, even large businesses. So that's such a great initiative. Thank you so much for taking that initiative and bringing it to life, and sharing it with us on this platform, bringing our digital fashion community into this project. Definitely, we need to post your link underneath. So if anybody's interested to support, definitely go for it. I'm
Gamersoverguns.org. Gamersoverguns.org.
There we go.
And I got the name from. So the Obama initiative has an email that they shoot out, and I learned about an initiative called Guitars Over Guns, which allows from gun violent communities the opportunity to learn an instrument. And I really was inspired by that, and I thought, wow, I'd love to do something with digital fashion and gaming. So I wrote to them and I said, what do you think of this idea? I'm going to call it Gamers Over Guns. They said, love it. And so that's how it was based on that kind of idea. So we can really do something in that field with digital fashion.
It's so good to hear how these ideas come together, because it's a lot of influence that we just sponge up every day, right? We just soak them up from our environment, things happening around us. And it's like you said, authenticity is key in this space. And I think you're a great example of somebody who's very authentic with the initiatives that you're pushing for, pioneer work that you're doing for our space. You're involved in so many different platforms, and collaborating with so many different players. So a big thank you from me and from the whole community for everything that you're supporting on. And if you guys have any questions, this is your chance to still ask it because we have a few minutes left. So I know we had a few on the go. I'm just going to scroll back.
I would just like to mention while you're scrolling that we're going to have a mentoring Mondays in Gamers Over Guns. So I'd like to invite anybody is a digital fashion designer or in gaming would love, please get in touch. I would love to hear from you and have you speak. You don't actually have to be there, it'd be through a video. So, and to speak to the kids and let them know what's out there, because the principal of the school asked me, well, how do the kids get involved? How does it work? And so I would love to hear from people in the industry to tell them about their story and how they got into it.
So I'll officially sign up for that. I'd love to do that.
Great.
Yeah. On the list. I think we should be actionable about these things and get right to it. So you got me, definitely. Feel free to reach out and let me know if you have any events going on where I can support and help.
Thanks, Maria.
So I think, so here we have the link again, Stella, my super supportive community member for today was so lovely to just add the link there. We have .org is the other link. Yeah.
I would like to say that Stella, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but Stella was very instrumental in helping out with the branding and with the name. So I owe her for that, for lending her talents to Aura.
She has so many different talents going on there. I mean, they just launched a digital magazine, the Alana magazine. There was a big event in the Spatial, which I joined as well. The new magazine is also very focused on music in this space. So how that is merging. In case you're interested, you can also head over there. I don't get any money for these promotions. I don't have any partnerships. So this is just purely from the heart. Projects I see that are amazing that I think need a little bit more light shed on them. So yeah, definitely check out those different spaces. Let me just see. We have, whoops. So what is the Discord link for Digital Fashion Week? I haven't really found it just yet.
Yeah, so I think if you go to Digital Fashion Week, New York City, you can find it unless Claire is still here.
If not, we can put it in the chat afterwards.
Yeah.
And if we forget it, hit us up on LinkedIn. Remind us.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then we have one more. What are potential psychological effects of widespread adoption of VR in the fashion industry on the public? So maybe psychological effects. I don't know if that goes into that bucket. I don't know if you want to also add something to that, but I think we have to also talk a lot about the ethics on what we display when we have, virtual or augmented reality, for example. In this case, also, we can display also different layers of digital fashion onto people. So it's a lot of ethical topics going on. Like, is it okay to just put clothes on other people without them knowing it? I don't know if you have other examples you want to add to that. Yeah, that's definitely one that came to my mind right away.
Well, actually, I have something to add to about psychological effects. It's not with particularly VR, but it's with gaming. And that is, somebody asked me about Gamers Over Guns. Well, isn't that contradictory about you're helping people, but gaming is so violent? But isn't that going to cause gun violence all over the world anyways, with people using guns? It doesn't. And what causes gun violence is guns. So if you look at Europe in general, they don't have the gun problem like we have in the US. Reason is that they have laws that actually make sense. So that's your difference. That's why things are black and white. That's why things are more civilized in Europe, because there's gun regulation.
Yeah, I got a short story for you guys on that, because I have also family members in the US, and they visit us from time to time, and so they visited, and they were we were going through the cities, and one of my family members asked me, "Well, Marie, where's the police station around? I haven't seen you. This is like haven't seen any police officers around standing. I was like, well, good question. I'm not used to having them around either because we only have them in the big cities. And if you have smaller villages around, there's no police stations going on there either. And there's not so much presence of a policeman besides if there's an event going on. And then they asked me, well, isn't that weird? Don't you feel unsafe? And I was like, actually, I don't. I wouldn't even think of anybody coming by with a drive-by shooting or whatever. It wouldn't even come to my mind because it's just not a thing here. People just don't have guns. So it's a very rare occasion that somebody actually gets access to it because it's so strictly regulated.
Yeah.
And it's very different in Europe to the US for sure. I can agree with that.
Absolutely.
Nice. So, okay, I missed a lot of ha-has. 1 sec. Clara's gonna post the Digital Fashion Discord.
Yeah. Thank you, Claire.
See, that's me. I'm still working on my keeping up with the comments you guys are adding here.
This dog, never throw her out. Get rid of her.
I love her. I love having her on. Yeah, so she's also supporting you and saying that it's a lie. Gaming isn't per se violent for sure. Yeah, so this has been an amazing conversation. I hope it was a great deep dive as well as a starter for those that are already in the digital fashion and gaming space, as well as those that are just joining. I hope we covered and explained everything really well because it's really important to me to get everyone on board, even those that are just starting out. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to both of us anytime. I hope it's okay that I'm offering it, Tracy, to you as well. And get in contact with Tracy if you have any, if you want to support her on a Games for Guns initiative, a Gamers Over Guns initiative. And this has been a great conversation. I think with that, we can wrap it up. It's late already. It's quite dark. It's turning dark in winter time already. And just want to give you a huge thank you for sharing all your insights, your thoughts, and everything that you're doing for our community in the space. Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you, everybody, for putting out with me for an hour. Please reach out on LinkedIn. Let's connect. I want to find out who you are and learn more about you.
Absolutely. You heard it. All right. With that, I just want to let you guys in a wonderful evening or morning or afternoon, whatever you're tuning in from. Enjoy your wine if you still have it. I will enjoy my drink, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.